Hey guys, Will here with Off the Line Self-Defense. Hey, thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to be talking about how to interact with the police properly. This came to mind. I actually just got pulled over the other day for a brake light being out. Totally friendly officer. I'll kind of lead off with your attitude influences the entire encounter, okay? How you treat the officer is directly how you're going to be treated. If you're combative and angry, what's that going to tell the officer? Okay, well, this person doesn't like the police. This person has bad interactions with the police. Maybe I should be suspicious of this person, right? I'm a neutral stance. I've had great interactions with police officers, and I've had very bad interactions with police officers. In my experience, I live in a rural area. We have the rural sheriff's department out here. They're fantastic. I've never had a problem with them. They've always been nice and courteous. Pretty much my only interactions with them have been them stopping me to say, hey man, you got a brake light out. I just want to let you know. They're great. Give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? I'm not going to get political with it. I typically don't like city police. I think they think a little highly of themselves. I don't agree with all the traffic laws. I don't agree with all the regulations and registrations and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, they're a person. They're doing a job, a dangerous job that they're not paid enough to do. So give them the benefit of the doubt. This is how I roll around. I appendix carry with a spare mag every day. So typically when I'm driving, the most comfortable thing for me is to tuck my t-shirt behind my gun. Gives me an extra layer of, I usually wear an undershirt one way or the other. Gives me an extra layer of clothing between me and the gun, nice and comfortable. This is how I ride, okay? I also like that because if I needed to, if there's a situation, I can immediately go with a gun. Here I am, okay? I understand it. I do it too sometimes. I discourage taking your gun off your body when you're driving. Some people, and I'll do it too if I'm on a long road trip, I'll take my holster off. I'll stick it right there next to me. I can still grab it should I need it, kick the holster off. But typically, and now watch me struggle to get this back on. There we go. Typically, I like to have it on me if I need to bail out. If I'm just going on a short drive to a destination, I obviously want to take my gun with me. That's how I ride. That's how I carry my gun when I'm driving. So, you get stops. There's a few things I recommend immediately. Now, get a couple things out of the way. I live in Oklahoma. We're a very Second Amendment friendly state. We have very great gun laws and even great laws when it comes to interacting with the police. As of recent, Oklahoma is a no duty to disclose state, meaning if I'm pulled over by a police officer and I'm carrying a firearm, I am not legally required to tell that officer that I'm carrying. Now, out of courtesy, I typically will, but it also depends on the situation. Can act as if we're driving. I just got the cherries and berries. I'm getting pulled over. I'm going to pull over to the side. So now what I'm immediately going to do is I'm going to put the car in park. I'm going to roll both windows down. Night or day, unless it's pouring rain, I'm rolling both windows down. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to reach over and I'm going to turn my dome light on. Okay, if it's daytime, you don't need to do that. Okay, if it's at night or evening, I'm going to put my dome light on. I'm going to have both windows down. Why am I doing that? Both windows down. Everybody can communicate just fine, whether the officer has to walk on the driver's side or the passenger side. I don't have to be fumbling to roll the window down and talk to him. I understand all the arguments where you don't have to talk to them, you don't have to all this. I get that in principle. I agree with a lot of it, but that's not how the world works unless you want some unpleasant interactions. As long as you're not doing anything illegal, as long as they're not pushing too far, just deal with it and get over it. I hate it too, but it's just the world we live in. So what I'm doing is I'm opening both my windows. I'm making it clear and easy to communicate. The officer can obviously see that it's me, maybe a passenger, you know what I mean? I've got the dome light on if it's night. Again, just being clear and open. What I'm going to do before I even roll my windows down, as soon as I stop, what I'm typically going to do is, again, I've been riding with my shirt tucked behind my firearm. I'm going to untuck my shirt. I'm going to put it over. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I don't know the officer coming up to the vehicle. I don't know what they've been through. I don't know how they deal with people. I'm not just going to have my firearm right there in broad view, okay? I'm going to cover it up with my shirt, okay? What I'm typically going to do is reach in, grab my wallet. Now, let me tell you something about this. This is time dependent, okay? Because what I don't want is I don't want that officer pulling up, making his radio call saying, hey, stop in this vehicle, blah, 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 reading my tag number. I don't want him seeing me doing a whole bunch of movement in here, okay? Because that sends a signal They're either getting ready for something, they're getting ready for a fight, or hiding something. Okay, I don't want any of that. So if I have the time, I like to reach out my wallet. I carry one of these little slim wallets, easy to get to. I'm going to quickly pull out my ID, set it on my lap, very cautiously, again, because I don't want to create an entire, show of movement to the officer. I'm going to reach in here, grab my registration. Now I've got my ID and my insurance sitting on my lap. And then the last thing I'm going to do before he gets up here is I'm going to just casually put both hands on the wheel, because that is showing I'm not moving around. He can see both my hands. Okay, I've got my stuff ready. And here's the thing, guys. If a police officer walks up to your window and you've got the windows down, you got the dome light on if it's dark, you got both hands on the wheel, you already got your stuff ready, that sends a signal to them that you know the drill, that you know how to properly interact with the police, okay, that you're not a problem. Like I said, even if you're mad about whatever, okay, you're going 2 miles over the limit and they pulled you over. Yeah, it's BS, everybody knows that, but here's the thing. If you're combative to the officer, what do you think you're going to get in return? Okay? They deal with crazy people all day long. They deal with people they don't want to deal with. Don't be one of those people, okay? Again, got my hands casually on the wheel, and I'm going to keep them there until I start talking to the officer. The officer walks up. Hey, how you doing? This is why I pulled you over. Okay, great. Yeah, I've got my ID and my insurance right here. Hand it off. So with the firearm, again, now it may be different in the state you live in. Here in Oklahoma, we're a constitutional carry state. You don't need a permit to carry, and you don't have to disclose to officers. So, it totally depends the situation and the mood of the officer, okay? If they're nice and friendly and they come up, I may say, hey, by the way, I am carrying, I carry appendix. I am carrying appendix. Or if you're one of the people who sets it off your body, hey, just want to let you know I am carrying a firearm. It's in my glove box. It's, next to my driver's seat, right side. Be nice, be courteous about it. If you're in a state where you have to disclose, here's one mistake I see a lot of people make. Basically, the second the officer gets up there, you're just scrambling to say, hey, I have a gun. Don't do that. Okay? I understand that you're wanting to fulfill that obligation because you can be in a lot of trouble if you don't disclose. But at the same time, don't just shout, hey, I have a gun. Or don't just shove your carry permit in their face, okay? Be casual, be cool, calm and easy. Hey, officer, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the stop sign. I didn't know the speed limit, whatever. Okay, here's my license, my registration, and my carry permit. It's a nice, slick way of doing it. They understand it. Again, here in Oklahoma, I kind of have the choice if I want to do that, okay? Which I do like. Typically, if an officer is friendly and non-confrontational, then yeah, I'll tell them, hey, by the way, I am carrying, just so you know, I'll just be nice to them, okay? Do I have to do that? No, I don't have to. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just, especially if it's something minor, like, sorry guys, I'm sweating. I'm going to be taking my hat off, wiping my forehead. It's hot out here. Sometimes if it's just a minor infraction, hey, you got a taillight on. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I won't say a word about it because I don't have to. And to be honest, it's kind of my business and nobody else's. So, again, if you're in a state where you're required to, don't go to shoving your carry permit in their face or being, so adamant to the first word you get out being, I have a gun. Okay. It may not end up well for you. So let's talk about if you get pulled over and the gun's off your body. So this actually happened to me a while back. I just finished work. I was hot and sweaty. It was 100+ degrees that day. And the last thing I wanted is my expensive carry gun up against my sweaty stomach, okay? So I had it sitting right here, pinned in between my console and the seatbelt. So driving, I think I had a turn signal out, got pulled over, 2 officers come up, again, got my hands on the wheel, got my insurance and my ID in my lap. Hey officer, how you doing? Okay. Now, here's the thing. I let off pretty quickly with, hey, I am carrying, because out of the corner of my eye, I see officer number 2 come up this window and I know he can see it. So I'm trying to ease the situation. Okay. Now, when I say that, don't twist my words and think, okay, well, the police just see a gun and they're just going to freak out. Because that wasn't the case. That's usually not the case. Especially if you live in a rural state or a state that's very constitutionally friendly. Okay, they see guns all the time. They pull over people every day with guns. I have a gun, you have a gun, nobody cares. As long as you're just straightforward with them. So what I did is they walk up, Tells my turn signals out. Okay, yeah, sorry, oh man, really, I didn't know that, oh crap. I'll have to get that fixed. No big deal, can I see your license and registration? Yeah, sure, here it is. By the way, I am carrying. My gun is, on my right-hand side next to my console. This was an older officer and a younger, what I'm guessing was his trainee. He was slightly more nervous. He said, okay. He said, well, would you mind just putting it up on the dash real quick? I said, sure, not a problem. If a police officer asks you to reach for something, nice slow movement. Okay, sure, no problem. There you go, up on the dash, hand just naturally resting back to the wheel. What that did is that just, here's the thing. When they roll up to a traffic stop, that is the most dangerous situation a police officer's ever in. He has no idea what he's walking into. Could be a perfectly normal person who had a brake light out. Could be somebody with a felony warrant who doesn't want to go back to jail. Could be a murderer, could be a drug trafficker. They have no idea. So I have no problem with him asking me to put it up on the dash. Sure, absolutely. It takes the tension out of the air. It calms the situation. It gives him, and see, honestly, he's smart to do it. It gives him a reactionary gap. Because if all of a sudden I start reaching for that, he's got that reactionary time to do what he needs to do. Rather, if it were over here and I could kind of put my hand down, all of a sudden ambush him with it. Okay? So I understand why they do it. Okay, so guys, I hope that helps out. Again, I typically like to just ride around with my pistol in my carry position. I'll tuck my shirt behind it to get a little bit more comfortable. So, just things to remember. Those hands on the wheel, the windows down, the dome light on. It's going to demonstrate to the officer, you know what you're doing. You're being cooperative, you're being kind. And if you're just difficult, they're going to be difficult with you. Okay, they've got 37 other traffic stops to make that day. They've got other people to deal with, other crackheads that aren't you. Don't give them any trouble, okay? Make their job easy, they'll make your life easy, and you can move on, okay? It should be a 2, 3, 4 minute interaction. Oh, you're, okay, got a brake light out, speeding, whatever. Okay, they're gonna go back and run your license, make sure you're not wanted. They're gonna run your insurance, make sure it's valid. They're gonna either give you the ticket or give you a warning or just say, hey, you have a great day. Don't make it anything it doesn't have to be. Again, carrying a firearm adds a whole nother level to that. You can easily navigate that. Okay, if you're in a state that you have to disclose that in a nice, calm way, disclose that. Hey, officer, I'm carrying a firearm. This is where it's located. The laws of your state may vary. They may ask you to remove it and sit it somewhere else. They may ask you to get out of the vehicle and leave the firearm in the vehicle. It all depends on the officer and the state. Here in my state, if I need to, I let them know as a courtesy. Again, I don't have to. I let them know as a courtesy that I am carrying, and then we get on with the interaction, and that's done. Okay, guys? So I hope that helped. Stay safe out there. Implement this into your daily life, okay? If you're going to carry a firearm, you need to know how to use it, how to interact with others, and especially how to interact with police. Guys, I hope this helps. Stay safe out there. Will out.